Let's read the definition of net worth according to Investopedia. Being wealthy, it's more of a mindset where you're continuing to build assets and put your money into things that increase in value.
Right.
Creating wealth for future generations.
If you weren't game planning that way or including everything, you need to start doing that.
Let's read the definition of net worth according to Investopedia, and then let's just do a takeaway each of what we want the people to take away from this video.
All right, let's do it.
What is net worth? Net worth is the value of the assets a person or corporation owns minus the liabilities they owe. It is an important metric to gauge a company's health, providing a useful snapshot of current financial positions. Key takeaways. Net worth is a quantitative concept that measures the value of an entity and can apply to individuals, corporations, sectors, and even countries. Net worth provides a snapshot of an entity's current financial position. In business, net worth is also known as book value or shareholders' equity. People with substantial net worth are called high net worth individuals. Net worth is calculated by subtracting all liabilities from assets. An asset is anything owned that has monetary value, while liabilities are obligations that deplete resources such as loans, accounts payables, and mortgages.
Yep.
Net worth can be described as either positive or negative, with the former meaning that assets exceed liabilities and the latter that liabilities exceed assets. Positive and increasing net worth indicates good financial health. Decreasing net worth, on the other hand, is cause for concern as it might signal a decrease in assets relative to liabilities.
Yep.
The best way to improve net worth is either to reduce liabilities while assets stay constant or rise, or increase assets while liabilities either stay constant or fall.
I think that's spot on, right? At a base, base level. This is why I used to like this website. And I don't even know if it's still around. I ain't logged in forever. But I used to go on mint.com to try to see my net worth. Because it allows you to link all your accounts.
Yeah, it does.
But what I used to do, right, and I don't know if this is cheating or not, I would have one profile with my mortgage on it and one without it. Because I'm like, I want to see like what it is outside of my house, because your mortgage will make you feel like, oh, damn, I'm negative. But then when you account the equity you have in your home, where you to sell it today or whatever you're going to do with your property, that number can be different. So every time I used to log in the joint with the mortgage, it was like, oh, damn. But that's the true number.
But that's the true number.
But at the same time, you have to think about it like, or at least I think about it like, obviously the goal long term is to pay off the home and own it in full. But if I were to sell it today, especially in 2022, I would make this amount and then this would be my net worth. So it's hypothetical, but it's still like, I think should be considered in your portfolio.
All right, Max, so we're coming towards the close of our first long form podcast. I haven't thought of a name yet. So guys, I think, like I was thinking like New Rules FM, the official podcast, because we already got like the show on there that we called the podcast. Guys, you're with us building this. Like, you guys tell us what you want. We're giving you different forms of contact, different interactions. We're going to start the Patreon. So subscribe to that for bonus episodes. We're going to be going in depth into numbers.
Yeah.
Like real, like behind the scenes, like no holds bar, like none of that bullshit, right? Real numbers based on our bank accounts, like what we're investing in, like where we are, like all that stuff. Anyway, but let's wrap up this episode. So what's the main takeaway you got from the conversation about net worth today?
I think the main takeaway I got is, the formulaic expression that you just read pretty much, which is, your liabilities and expenses minus your assets. That's really where you land, right? So if that's a negative number, you have a negative net worth. If it's a positive number, you have a positive net worth. And no matter what stage of the game you're in, as long as the end goal is, to have your assets, exceed your liabilities and then begin to invest and build your wealth from there, I think that's where you want to be. And, that's pretty much my main takeaway. If you weren't game planning that way or including everything, you need to start doing that. But I like the takeaway you gave, so go ahead and share with the people.
Yeah.
Your main takeaway.
My main takeaway is that according to Bankrate, right, wealthy, if you need a definition for it, which I don't really think you do, but it's $2.4 million of net assets, right? Mm-hmm. But more importantly, because you can lose that if you burn rate, right? Like, so we can agree that athletes, like you gave the example of Adrian Peterson having a $1.8 million contract or whatever that amount is, and a whole bunch of debt tied to that, which means that he's in a negative and he's fucked. Yeah. Being wealthy, it's more of a mindset where you're continuing to build assets and put your money into things that increase in value.
Right. Right.
and making sure that your liabilities have no fucking chance of catching up with them. And if you're talking about creating wealth for future generations, as you and I are going to do, right? Leo's going to be set. When I have a kid, they're going to be set. We're both going to do, and I'll make sure all my friends do what happened in House of Gucci. No matter who your son marries, I'm not worried about who's coming to the family, because all that will be tied up with the corporation.
Right.
You can borrow the house in Martha's Vineyard. You can borrow the house in the Hamptons. You could get married, and yes, I'll give my son or daughter the house.
Right.
But it's not going to be in their name.
Right. Be in a company name.
It's going to be in a company name. So that way, in a divorce or anything separate, right, you were just borrowing that house.
Right.
Right. And that's how you keep start to build generational assets.
Yeah.
And I think that's what rich people do. Not that I know, but as we start to get more and more money and try to become more financially astute, those are some of the things that we need to learn and implement to create long-term wealth.
For sure. And I'll add to my takeaway now that we're on there. I think wealth is more like having the framework in place for your money to continue to expand. Mm-hmm. Rich is having the framework in place where one bad decision or a few bad decisions and a bad burn rate can take you out. So you want to have a wealthy framework where things are set up like you just described, or in other instruments where, basically whatever money that your money is earning you is not exceeding what you're spending, so your wealth can continue to grow.